live from Studio 6B, debate night in America, whatever the hell they're calling it. Slick's here. Rick Delgado's here. Kevin Downey Jr. is going to join us in a little bit. We are live on all socials for our debate watch night party. We've got the CNN up in front of us. You've got us in front of you.
Yeah.
Of course, the debate will be on Real America's Voice main channel, so you might want to double screen if you want to see what's actually going on the stage, but maybe you don't want to see what's going on the stage and you want to just hear us talk about what's going on the stage, and that's, of course, what our job will be here tonight. And we've had a laugh riot here even before we've come on the air. Just watching the CNN pre-show and seeing some of the pictures of what's going on. Now, I don't know if these pictures are right. Delgado, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Back. How was your graduation?
Graduation went flawlessly. Great weather.
Nice.
Congrats to the class of 2024.
Yep.
So, I haven't seen this guy.
Slickster's back. Oh, yeah.
Back in
Oh, my
action.
God. Purple Rain Man is back.
That's right.
And
Slick hosted the show last night.
did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had to be home. My eyes still, it's impossible to sit under these lights, but tonight's better than last night.
Wow. Look at you. Look
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah.
So we forgot to tell you,
Right
you're
to the
fired.
fire.
Okay, cool.
No, Slick was great. I got a lot of comments on Slick last night.
Yeah, it was fun last night.
Yeah,
It was,
so
my
Slick,
first
how
night.
are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I just saw
Joe's ready to go.
But I just saw Jill. She said Joe's ready to go. I says, is this a cremation or a burial?
Joe's ready to go. Yeah, no kidding. We know he's ready to go. He's been ready to go for about 5 years.
Yep.
Oh, God. So, well, this is, as I'm sure you can expect, this is not going to be formal.
No.
We've got.
You mean us?
Us.
Okay.
This stream is just going to be fun, and we're going to walk in and out, and we've got food here. We've got drinks. We tried to come up with a drinking game, but I don't know if we all want to just get drunk on the set. Probably not, because if we have a drinking game with Biden, we could all end up just passed out on the floor in front of us here. So
Kind of like him.
yeah.
In the first half hour.
So I joined the Real America's Voice on the pre-show for a little bit with Grant Stinchfield and David Ziers over at the America's First Warehouse. We're gonna attempt to bring some people into our universe here tonight as the debate is on, because CNN's pulled this their communist card tonight, basically threatening all streamers that you cannot restream the broadcast and talk over it. And they've got very slick rules on what you can do if you're going to simulcast their broadcast tonight. And so the YouTube and streamers and social media, which I know make up huge audiences, some of these people pull huge numbers, are all up in arms. So we're just going to keep it on the TV, and we're going to do our own stream here, and we're going to be able to talk, because you're not going to see the debate on our stream. You're going to see us, but we're going to be able to tell you exactly what we think of everything that's going on. You'll probably be able to hear the TV a little bit in the background. So, but if you want to watch the actual debate, then you need to have Rav on. Put Rav on, and then you can double screen with us, or however you want to do it.
So now are we going to hear the debate?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it up so we can
It's
hear.
gonna be
of
like the
course.
Manning
Come on,
cast.
what do you
What
think
are
we're
you
going
talking
to?
about,
Right.
It's a political Manning
Exactly,
cast.
it's like the Manning cast, just without. We can hear that, right? I mean, we've been listening to the CNN pre-show here.
Is that what they
And
call it?
here's what this is what they're focused on: Melania Trump not attending tonight's debate. I heard all the. I saw the plane come in. And where's the first lady? She wasn't right behind them. Yeah, and then here's what they're doing on CNN. They're saying, "Oh, did you see the way Trump walked down those stairs of the airplane?"
Of course, they got to lay the narrative out.
He went. Yeah, he took 4 steps. He looked up. And then you could see when he looked back down, he really looked at each step. This is what they're saying on CNN. I'm screaming, laughing, just pulling my hair out. And then they go, "We don't have one old guy. We have 2."
Oh, so they're admitting their guy is really old.
Yeah, they are.
They're basically admitting it.
They're putting him on the equal planes, as they say.
And then they're calling out a guy who doesn't need his wife to take him to work.
Right. That's a good point.
Like, is that what we're down to? Like our president has to have his wife bring him to work to make sure he knows where to go and knows what to do.
Well,
and
she's a doctor.
Puts his clothes on. And
She's a doctor, right?
Right, she's a doctor.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
He's a doctor. Joe's ready to go.
Dr. Doolittle. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so that they're already trying to set the narrative. CNN is being, I mean, they're not allowing anybody in to see it. They're letting 2 people, I think, from the campaign I read into the actual hall to see the debate. Everybody else has to watch, including family, from an alternative
location.
Oh my God!
I mean, what?
Excuse me.
And I'll tell you the other thing, and I don't know that this is true. They just could be bad pictures. But I've seen some pictures of Joe Biden today since he got to Atlanta, shaking hands with people there at the debate hall. He looks like it looked like he got stung by a colony of bees on his way into the hall. And
they jacked him up.
I mean, he looks like he's 30 pounds heavier.
He's puffy. That's what happens when you're infused.
Again, maybe he'll walk out and look perfect, and these shots are just bad shots from the side. Certainly knows I could get a couple of bad ones from the side. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how he looks when he actually walks out.
She looks like she was taking the same thing he was taking.
No, that's just not.
Why?
That's just a cheap shot, Delgado.
Come on, she's on the Cartoon News Network.
You know what? I'm going to say it. That's a bad outfit for that woman.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just come on.
Yeah, come on.
What?
That's just cheap
nice
shots.
shade
We
of
don't
green.
need that.
Why not? That's
Well,
what
I don't
we
know
do.
why not, but I just don't think we need it. Anderson Cooper.
Attacking the hosts.
Oh, yes. It's very fascinating.
It's fascinating. Yes.
How many undecided voters do we think there are? Grant asked me this in the pre-show. Do we think that this moves the needle for anybody? I said no, Delgado. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think this really moves the needle. I mean, it might move the needle against...
Is that Chris Wallace?
Yeah.
He's still... Oh, I
That
guess
guy,
he's
they unearthed him?
He's still alive, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, not alive. Of course, he's alive.
Active.
He's
He's
still
still
on
active.
CNN. Yeah, he doesn't have a show anymore. I don't think.
I think if it moves the needle anywhere, the potential is it hurts Biden the most because people might be looking at this going, look, I'm on the fence with this guy, even though they support him and they support Democrats, but they might be like, yeah, we need to get some, we need him replaced.
Right.
So this could lead to the replacement there, David.
It could move the needle a little to RFK.
No, well,
possibly.
your story the other night put that to bed. I've already.
No, not at all.
Oh, there it is. There it is. First Lady Joe Biden. I know Joe is ready to go. It's like-
Why? Because he stopped, he paused and made that face while he was standing straight up.
In lieu of flowers, please send it to the Democratic National.
Jeez. I know Joe's ready to go. Oh, you see,
we
so
all
you're
know
getting a little sense of all of the
Where they going?
all the touch points. Democracy, January 6th, convicted felon,
Of course.
abortion, women's health. I'm telling you, they're going to come at abortion in like 9 different terminology, 9 different ways.
Joe's an expert on that because he is one. That's another story.
So we're watching.
Yeah, suburban moms. We're
So I
going to
guess
get.
what's the best route for people tuning this in? Should they watch us on their phones or computers and watch the CNN feed on their TV? Or what should they do? Is
Double screening us us against the network is probably a good idea.
Are we in what chat are we in? We have any chats?
Yeah, we got to get into the chat, see what the people are thinking here.
How do we get into the
Of course,
chat
I can't
from
see anything, so I'm going to be no help.
Are we? Where's our chat at?
We're on all socials. We're on all of our socials tonight.
Oh, Getter too.
I don't know if we're on Getter. We're on all our socials. We're on a secondary Rav.
I'll go into Twitter.
secondary?
Rumble. Well, because they got the main thing up. I'll go to our X.
Bronny James. You see that? Bronny James to the Lakers, Rick.
Do you believe that?
Second round pick.
The Lakers drafted Bronny James.
Of course
I mean,
they
talk about nepotism.
Big Daddy.
Good
Of course
God.
they were going to. Like, that's why nobody else was going to touch him. Why bother?
That might be the most shocking news of the night.
That is completely unshocking to me.
All right, let's see here. I'm on our X. Where do I get to the chat? I have no idea.
There we go.
Wow, Rumble's getting hammered right now.
Is it?
Yeah, very busy. Can't get on right now.
How do I get to the chat on X? I can't get to the chat anymore on X. You can't get to the chat on mobile on X?
I'm on it. I don't see the chat. I just see the feed.
Parker says they're bringing me on Real America's Voice again.
8:45, right? Here's the live chat. Cowboy Don.
I can't get on the chat. Maybe I can get on YouTube.
Tommy Viper. We got all the usual characters in there.
All right, let me just mute this. I'm going to join the Real America's Voice pre-show here in a second, just to wrap up. Robert Cahaley, the Trafalgar's pollster, is on right now.
You've got him in your ear, right, Damon?
Huh?
You have Denver in your ear?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know my shot was going to be so wide.
AC 58. Big D, nice legs.
A very tight race.
All right, Robert Cahaley, where do you stand on this? I don't believe the Fox poll.
Well, I think that, first of all, I'm not a huge believer in national presidential polls because we don't elect our presidents that way. And second, you know, these things come and go. We're gonna see a lot of polls. Polls are not determinative of exactly who's going to win a race. They're more of a snapshot of where a race stands at any given moment. But when it comes to the presidential elections and all this stuff, I mean, you know, we do this every 4 years. And I think if you want to try to figure out which polls you should listen to and which polls you shouldn't, go look at the presidential years, especially, and look at the records of what some of these polling companies have. And I think you'll make your own determinations. And I think you'll find that the polling stuff that we put out at Trafalgar Group, that Matt Towery puts out with Insider Advantage, he's my partner in the Polling Plus podcast. I think you'll find that we are more likely to be giving you real information on presidential polls than almost anybody out there.
Well, it's not a coincidence why we invite you on here. It's for that exact reason, Robert Cahaley. That's for sure.
I agree.
All right, last question for the both of you, maybe real quick answer.
Yep.
Speaking of polls, why is it, maybe Robert, I'll start with you. Why is it, do you think that these Republican Senate candidates appear to be, in these swing states, appear to be doing worse in the polls, losing, in fact, when President Trump is up 8-10 points in some of these states? What is the disconnect there between the Republican Senate candidate and Trump, who's winning, and the Senate candidate losing in the polls? Real quick, if you can.
I think it's the fact that Biden is a known entity, and a lot of these Republican candidates and their opponents have not been clearly defined. We know what Biden's weaknesses are, and I trust that the people doing those campaigns will make it clear what the weaknesses are of the Senate candidates. Hey, and it's been great to be on here with John.
All right. And John, real quick, your thought on why we see that disconnect between the Republican Senate candidates and President Trump, who's doing real well.
All right, we're waiting for. I'm going to join, I think, Real America's Voice here at some point. Now, can they hear John? Oh, our stream can't hear John. They can just hear us. Oh, okay. The reason Republican candidates are losing in primaries is because we put up the worst rhino establishment primary candidates for election. That's why.
Wow, you're right. He does look heavy.
Right?
Whoa.
He ain't heavy.
I'm telling you, it looks like
that's not normal.
he looks like he got stung by a colony of bees.
He ain't heavy.
At least from those side shots.
Yeah. That's
Not could just be a bad shot. We'll see when he walks out there.
Yeah.
If he comes out there looking like, you know,
you.
who's your rapper girlfriend there you used to like?
Huh?
You. Who's your? Can't think of her name.
Oh, Lizzo.
Lizzo. Yeah.
Lizzo,
If he comes out there looking like Lizzo, then we'll know something's up.
Jozo.
So what's going on in the chat? Have we pulled up any chat yet?
Yeah, I'm in the X chat.
You got into the X chat?
Yeah, they're loving your legs. They're really fired up about that.
Let me go on YouTube. Parker said, all right, get ready.
You know, RFK Jr. is doing the real debate.
Yeah, he's doing an alternate. Yeah.
Where he's, I guess, talking to himself. I hope he wins.
Welcome back, everyone. Our special coverage of Debate Night 2024 continues right here on Real America's Voice. We will be carrying the CNN debate through its entirety on this network, so keep it right here. We're just about 8.5 minutes away from the start of that. So I want to bring in our super crew, Damon Roberts, David Zier, Brian Glenn, and Carolyn Ryan, all four of them. Carolyn, I'll start with you. You were giving us an update on the protesters, Antifa. Any news on that?
Yeah, no, that crowd continues to build out there, Grant. A lot of folks, and of course, they all kind of have their faces covered, right? I see a lot of the same faces, familiar faces from covering these protests over the years in Atlanta. So that's out there. In here, I'm at a watch party now in the heart of Midtown at a place called Hudson Grill. This is the Atlanta Young Republicans group. Full room up here. They've got the full upper level of this facility rented out. They've got a big screen up here, tons of TVs, lots of people. The enthusiasm is building just a few minutes away from the debate. As you know, Brant, young people are turning towards Trump in droves. So it's significant to have this crowd here on this night and to see the enthusiasm for President Trump, Grant.
How many people you think are there? Can you put a guess on it?
I'd say probably about 150 people in this room up here in this location. And there's watch parties all across Metro Atlanta.
Yeah, amazing. Brian Glenn is at a watch party himself. Brian, I want to go out to you. And you got a big crowd there, too, and you got somebody with you.
My goodness, we have a crowd here. I have Sally Grubbs. She is the chairman of the GOP here in this county. Let's talk about how many people are here tonight.
So far we have right around 400 people.
Okay, 400 people. And what made me think about this, Grant, is there a Joe Biden watch party anywhere? I have not heard of anyone gathering to watch this debate for Joe Biden.
Well, I will tell you, I do not run in those circles, but even though I don't run in the circles, I have not heard of any Joe Biden debate watch parties.
Yeah, pretty insane. All right, let's talk about what is the pulse of Georgia right now. You've got your crew on the ground, canvassing, knocking on doors, making sure people are registered to vote. Give us an update on that.
People in Georgia are fed up. They're fed up of going to the grocery store and not being able to afford groceries. And I see it every day when people say, I went and spent $300 and I put gas in my tank and I'm broke. By the time they pay their rent, by the time they pay their utilities, and then they go to the grocery store, they just can't take it anymore. And so pretty much the sound of what people are telling me is we're fed up and we're not going to take it anymore.
Expectations for tonight from President Trump on this debate?
I think President Trump is going to do an awesome job. I think that Joe Biden is going to speak for himself. I don't think that he is going to be up to it, and President Trump is going to shine.
Number one issue on voters' minds here in Georgia is what?
Right now, I think it's the economy and it's public safety with what's happening at the border.
Therefore, so Grant, people are fired up. It's about the economy. It's about the border. It's about making America great again.
100%. We got to.
Well, Sally, thanks for your time. Thank you so much, Grant.
Absolutely, Brian. It's people like that are going to ensure whether or not we win. Those boots on the ground, like Sally. David Zier, you're out in New York. Same thing. I love that we can go from Georgia to New York. We can go cross town in Atlanta and then all the way up to New York. Very similar situation, I take it, David.
I haven't seen this much enthusiasm here at the America First warehouse in many years. People are fired up. They are really coming out in force here. Grant, I just wanted to mention new polling coming out that young people, Hispanics, black people, coming out for Donald Trump and in the battleground states. And in the battleground states, they also trust Donald Trump with their democracy more than Joe Biden. These people are really off the hook tonight. It's so great to see. This kind of energy really is.
Yeah, I can hear the energy. I love that they got Real America's Voice on. We love the America First warehouse and all the guys there. Joe DeBox, if you're watching, big thumbs up to you for putting this event on. And let's go out to Damon now. Damon with the sexy legs there for us all. What do you got for me, buddy?
Well, I got those, but listen, we're commenting in real time all night on all of our socials, so people can come over, check it out. I got all the boys here. We're going to have some fun. But I'll tell you what I've noticed already, Grant, going into this on just my third grade level of thinking. I saw some shots of Joe Biden from the side, some stills that have been put out. And he looks about 25 pounds. I don't know. I don't know if he got stung by a colony of bees or if he's going to come out looking like Lizzo. But I guess if he does, we're going to know something's up because he looks like he put on some weight this week. So that's the first thing I've noticed. The other thing I've noticed is CNN is clearly doing all they can already to try to put these guys on similar levels. I'm hearing Alyssa Farah tell me that, did you see Trump walk off the plane? He really had to look at his steps to see where he was going. And, we've got two old men here, not just one. Well, yeah, okay. One's as sharp as a tack. One has eggplant brain. So I think we're going to see the difference in those two tonight. But CNN's going to do their best to hold their buddy up as hard as it's going to be. They're going to do their best.
Well, if he's puffing up, it could be the medication that's getting him a little puffy. Who knows what he's on? But I'm sure
We'll see when he walks out what he looks like.
Yeah, and it's not too long away. 3 minutes left. Brian, I'll go back out to you. I see you got another guest there. We got about 3 minutes till the end of the show. Take it, brother.
Okay, I got about 1 minute. Antonio, what's the biggest issue right now in Georgia for you?
The cost of living. It's very expensive to live right now. And up underneath President Trump's leadership, we didn't have this. I mean, we had 4 years of peace and prosperity, and everybody was doing well. You know, the prices are up, the border's wide open, which is another form, in my opinion, of inflation, because we have more people that are chasing less goods, you know.
We appreciate your time. We're running out of time here. Enjoy. We'll talk to you after the debate. So, Grant, they're fired up, the economy, the border, and they want to see, I think they told me off camera, President Trump to go on the offense and take that Steve Bannon approach to this debate tonight, Grant.
Yeah, it's probably good advice. And I gave you a little wrong information, Brian. We're going to run through commercial up until the debate starts. So we got a little bit of time left, which is fine. But, you know, you were talking to the woman before. Yeah, go ahead, Brian, please.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I had a text from a friend earlier that said CNN was even attacking Melania Trump for not being at the debate tonight. That's how low CNN has got. They're more.
We're back on our socials.
I'm done with them?
Yeah, at the moment. I don't think they're going to need us till after.
All right, we're back on our socials. I just joined the Real America's Voice live stream, or pre-show on Real America's Voice. We're a few minutes out here. David Axelrod says tonight, if Joe Biden spends the whole night talking about his accomplishments, he's going to lose the debate and lose the election.
I thought you were supposed to talk about your.
I mean, that doesn't sound like much of a plan.
No.
That's the plan? Well, this is what we said last night. What's he going to talk about?
He could talk about his hairy legs.
All right, let's go into the chat here as we get ready to do this. Thank you, Susan, on YouTube. Praying for you. Thank you. Let's see here. What else we got? Talk about corn pop, Peggy? I don't know about that. Robert, how you doing?
Tommy Viper in the chat said he was hoping your eye's doing well, Big D. You feeling better?
Thank you, Tommy Viper.
In the X chat.
Greg, Big Day, I better. It's feeling better today than it was yesterday after the laser. It's still a little sensitive tonight. Damon, a competitive swimmer with those shaved legs. Well, they're not shaved. I don't shave my legs. My hair is blonde.
If he had any hair in his
legs. But thank you. Yes, they are. They are swimmer legs. What'd you say?
If you did have hair on your legs, they would be blonde. Yes,
I do have.
This segment sponsored by Nair Hair Removal.
Clint Leggett. What's up, buddy? Glad you're in there.
I'm in the YouTubes.
That's where I am.
Oh yeah. Linda Miller.
You're straining your eyes? No, I'm not straining my eyes. The light's a little bright for it, but I'm not straining them. They're fine. Hoping for a great recovery. Thank you, Archive of the Week. It's a great name. Rick Delgado, a couple people said hi to you. Texas Prankster and Linda Miller.
Hey,
Linda Miller.
Texas West mentioned, did you hear CNN is going to have a 2-minute delay?
Yeah, I did hear that, but then somebody from CNN came out and said that's not correct.
What is it going to be, a minute and a half?
I don't know.
We start
because that's something I brought up. I think I brought that up last week.
What do they have? 35 people on this panel?
That CNN might run it as a delay, so in case there's something goes wrong, they could kind of dump out.
Well, that's what they were talking about. Yeah, they can edit. Rumble is down. Rumble is down. Yeah, we know. We've heard Rumble is down. Is our Rumble down too, or just Real America's Voice Rumble?
I think all Rumble.
Okay, so Rumble site-wide is down.
Oh, Rumble site-wide is down.
But I still have our stream up in a tab, and it hasn't disappeared. But if I refresh it, it probably will.
Delgado looks like he worked out before the show.
I haven't worked out all week. I've been busy prepping for a party. Oh, my goodness.
Damon could be in a Nair commercial.
Taking care of my mom with her bad hand.
What's wrong with your mom?
She had hand surgery. She had her knuckles replaced.
Oh, wow.
That's what happens with old people.
Oh, what are we doing here? Is this it?
This is it.
Seems like it. It seems like the CNN presidential lead-in to the presidential debate.
Where's Wolf Blitzen?
All right, here we go.
He's up north.
There's Fake Tapper talking.
Presumptive.
Okay, here we go. Fake Tapper's bringing us in. All of Rumble is down, yes. All right, here's our first look. Dana Bash and Jake Tapper at desk, big screen behind them.
Each will make his case to the American people with just over 4 months until election.
Yeah, 4 months.
Good evening, I'm Dana Bash, anchor of CNN's Inside Politics and co-anchor of State of the Union. I'm Jake Tapper.
Oh, she's got a big face.
Long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a horse.
She's a horse.
Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, our job is to facilitate. Okay.
Oh, they're facilitating. He needs to be put in a facility.
Yeah. Oh.
Really? Joe's going to the right, huh?
Oh, see, only 2 minutes. Joe can do two. See, everything is geared towards him surviving.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was 3 or 4 minutes, he'd be dead.
Dead.
He couldn't talk for 3-4 minutes.
Come on, man.
So it's 2 minutes, and then everything else is 1-1-1-1.
Did you watch their presentation of how the on and off button works on CNN? Yeah. It's amazing. I never knew that.
Yeah, all this technology's all of a sudden showed up.
You can use a button to turn off a microphone and then turn it back on.
Closing statements, 2 minutes. There's no studio audience, of course.
Actually, I think the studio audience works to Trump's favor. Because, when he's talking to people one-on-one, he's much more soft-spoken. And I think that's going to work to his favor.
All right, here comes Joe.
Oh, yeah, he looks...
Who's he waving to?
No, he actually looks
There's
fine.
Nobody there. He's waving.
He doesn't look as heavy as he did in those pictures. I'm assuming he's waving to
he's
who? Already talking. He looks like Casper the Ghost, man.
He does.
There he is.
There he is. All right, Joe. They're going to shake hands?
I guess we'll see.
I would say not.
I guess not. They might do it at the end.
Thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern.
What do we think?
The economy.
Oh, the economy.
Inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $100.
Good question.
And typical home prices.
Inflation question.
30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your...
What do you say to voters who
Look
say
at his
they're
face.
worse
He's
off?
like, that's not the question I was told.
What I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me.
Oh, yeah.
We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic
Free fall?
was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right.
Oh, I felt bleach right away.
There were no jobs.
Oh, this is going to be rough. He hasn't blinked yet.
No.
Oh, there he goes.
We try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs.
He doesn't sound good.
No.
No. Sounds hoarse.
We have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, but there's more to be done. There's more to be done.
He's nervous.
Less people are still in trouble.
Yeah.
I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, God.
Where the kitchen tables, things weren't able to be met during the month was a problem.
He is.
Right?
He is nervous.
Very.
Yeah.
That's why
Very
it's
nervous.
so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. That we're going
He's
to
like-
reduce the price of housing.
Wow.
Make sure we 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents. So
Joe, you don't have to get everything in on one question.
Shooting his load.
In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. Chaos. Literally chaos.
Look at what else could he do?
Things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we have a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for.
I mean, he's just.
You went to the insulin.
We almost lost him.
No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they could include beginning next year.
I think he's trying to get everything he memorized out in one question.
Sounds like it. Is this over? Is this more than 2 minutes?
What was the question? It was on inflation.
Yeah, it was on the economy and inflation.
We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country, but other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce-back jobs, the bounce-back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you. President Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks that he had the greatest economy in the world. And, the fact of the matter is that we find ourselves in a situation
Is he reading?
His economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history.
No, they're allowed to have notes.
Yeah.
Like a blank pad, you can take notes.
Other than Herbert Hoover, who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
Huh?
What?
What?
It's a lie.
No.
Don't have any.
No, he has to respond.
He's ready.
I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years,
his face.
He looks like a great white shark.
He's like the mouth's open.
Yeah, he looks like a great white shark.
He looks like he's ready to go.
Wish he had addressed that total lie that Biden just told.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him.
Oh, he ain't gonna make an hour and a half.
Next year, you want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cut spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%.
The question is also slanted.
We took in more revenue,
Of course.
much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out, he did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after...
See, the questions already are doing a good job of keeping Trump from talking to the American people about the future. We're talking about the past.
History Channel.
And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed...
We got 90 minutes.
...to come in here from prisons...
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
...to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America.
Here we
There you go. Here's the math.
Just let him talk.
Where they, in fact, pay 8.2%
1,000 trillion.
taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%.
That's nonsense.
They'd raise $500 million.
That doesn't even pay
That doesn't
for
do anything.
2 hours.
Period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need.
He's got to get out.
That's total nonsense.
Making sure that we continue to suppress.
We're borrowing $1 trillion every 100 days.
We're able to make every single solitary person
Taxing the rich every...
for what
Oh,
I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with
Just let him talk.
everything we had to do with.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Told you.
Oh! Aye.
Just let him talk.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death. And
That's a good moment.
Over the plate. It's gone.
They're putting him on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social
Oh, boy.
Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security.
That was bad.
He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country
He's going.
in the last 4 years is not to be
Whoa.
foreign countries. I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America.
Yeah, Trump is settling in now.
Yeah.
He's in a pocket.
We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
I think that last one's got him nervous.
Yeah.
He really lost it and couldn't get it back together.
Yep.
What
Couldn't.
this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President
Good.
Trump. Dana?
This is the first president
Nope, Joe, your mic's not on.
since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Here we go.
Here we
See?
go with abortion.
The question's just...
Another abortion case,
Very pressing.
temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump
Give the same answer he gave on the All In podcast.
overturned Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions.
Oh, now we're going to niche it down to abortion pills.
Block abortion medication.
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back, religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, and getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different.
Look at him.
Florida is different.
He
doesn't know how he's going to respond to this.
Yeah.
States control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes.
Not yet.
No, I want to see. I want to see the knockout.
Some people you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe.
Couple more jabs.
But I believe in the exceptions.
This is the same answer he gave on the All In podcast, by the way.
Good answer.
I think it's very important. Some people don't follow your heart, but you have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
Oh, boy.
It's been a terrible thing.
Ooh.
The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe.
That's not true. They all thought it was legal nonsense.
They're all against it. It's just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor and have him decide on what your circumstances
Just let him talk.
whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different
What?
rule.
Wow.
Young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered. And
What?
He went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that. But here's the deal.
Whoa.
Young women who be raped by their
What?
in-laws, by their spouse.
He is off course.
Brothers and sisters. It's
Yes.
ridiculous. And they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
That's war nuts.
People he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. Considered the most dangerous place anywhere.
Trump should have really said, "No, Joe, you take my time. Keep going."
Oh, my God. That was
scary.
And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting.
Yeah. He's bringing it back, too.
It's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting.
like I said, this is the difference between sharp as a tack and eggplant brain.
He's gone after tonight. I'm telling you. He's gone. Joe's ready to go.
So, Damon, you ready to join the?
I'm going to tell you, I'm sitting here thinking.
They got to pull him. Where's the towel?
This is not the do good enough to hang on.
You're
Joe.
going to see a white towel come in any minute. Throw it in towel.
He went from abortion saying not, I don't even know what he said, to immigrants getting killed.
President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal.
He's lost.
He's lost.
A woman can obtain.
Look at his face.
Do you support any?
Who?
You have confidence in that? You're going to vote for that?
Who is she? He's thinking.
I supported Roe v. Wade.
Oh.
It had 3 trimesters. First time is between
3 trimesters?
doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme
Semester says.
Third time is between the doctor, between the
Oh, boy.
woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician is making that decision.
Right.
Even Trump, he's like, I don't know what he's talking about.
What you talking about, Willis?
He can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we
Look
said,
at him.
rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month
He-
and kill the baby.
He looks like he's. Wow. I don't even know what to say.
Nobody wants
Cut back to Biden.
That is simply not true.
Oh,
there he goes.
He's getting Angry Joe.
That's not the circumstance. Only a woman's life is in danger. She's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want.
They're for abortion on demand. What is he talking about?
We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court.
Oh.
Takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected.
Oh, here we go.
MAGAs.
Control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board, at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns.
Rumble's back up?
Given that,
Okay.
why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, but made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed me, endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation
I don't think
where
that's true.
when he was president,
I don't think that's true.
Fact check that.
babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go.
Yeah.
Obama did do that. You're right.
I've changed the law. What's happened? I've changed it in a way.
I can't get over those two moments. I don't think I've ever seen that in a president. I don't think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is over.
Yeah, it is over. Oh, no,
Yeah.
CNN Joe didn't do bad. He didn't do bad. Well, we might go to that next.
What did he just say?
Exactly. Exactly.
Look at his face.
The board, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our
Oh my God, this is.
to people that are from prisons, people that are from
Bad people,
mental
man.
institutions in
Terrorists.
Terrorists. We
There you
have
go.
the largest number of terrorists coming into our country
Yep.
right now. All terrorists, all over the world, not just in South
Talk
America,
about it.
all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president. But
Look at this. He's like, what happened?
Which way did he go?
look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place.
This is a bloodbath.
Yeah.
This is a bloodbath. This is a bloodbath.
He needs a standing 8 count.
Oh.
Is one who came along and killed 3, and his administration killed an Al Qaeda person come in his administration.
What? What?
Americans.
It's a crazy town.
Killed 3 American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people. That's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating. He's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just borders.
Look at his face.
He's the one that killed people with a bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, People are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days.
There you go.
One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taking place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse.
What's he doing?
The highest approval rating for veterans.
Is he sleeping or is he taking notes?
No, he's definitely not writing.
He's getting pissed.
Yeah.
Have some beers.
They abandoned. We had by far the
Oh, he's pissing his pants.
great things that we did, and I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in.
Good job.
It's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie.
Oh, of course.
Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed it.
Veterans? You didn't talk about veterans.
I mentioned it earlier.
Insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits,
Agent
they're all
Orange.
covered now. And he opposed, his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where there's great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq.
Oh, here we go. Dead son story.
Back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke
How'd that go?
about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers.
You mean 4-star hotel?
Not a loser is not a sucker. You're the
Oh,
sucker.
look at him.
You're the loser.
Wow.
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say, I'm at a cemetery or I'm
He said it was in my
about our
4-star
veterans?
general,
'Cause nobody
not
said
hotel.
better care. I'm so glad this came up. He brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up.
Yep.
Just like the 51 intelligence
Ooh.
agents are made up. Just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russian
There you go.
disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who's on your staff who said you said it. Period. That's number one.
Period.
And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
The topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine.
This
It's
is.
now in its third year.
This will go down in the history books. This night.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him.
That's true.
He's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him.
Yep.
So let's get that straight.
I've heard that. I've heard that myself.
Just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, a president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. And I tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals. Like
Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee. This is what's on Twitter.
Rick, I think we're going to the sphere. Look at his face. It's like,
yeah,
forget
his
the election.
Facial expressions right now are just
they're poop drops.
They have to keep cutting away from him because
Forget the election. This is heading into 25th Amendment territory.
Big time.
You know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take my. This is what I talked to him about it.
Look at this.
The difference is he never would have invaded.
He's going to walk off the stage at some point. I know it.
Would have never been invaded.
He's going to walk off.
In a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them.
Yep.
They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
There's still room on the train.
Let's hear what he says here.
David.
We're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these.
He's got brain
troops.
damage.
He did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two.
That's a terrible number one.
Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did.
Trump did.
Encourage him.
What?
Whatever you want.
What did he do?
He's flipped the names
He's
around.
got the names wrong.
Oh, my God.
Remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish. Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops. 500,000 troops.
500. Come on, stop.
For 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question.
500,000.
Are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more.
Look at his face.
I'm telling you.
Oh, my God.
Pictures tell at least one word. Gone.
He's not going to make it to September, much like November.
That train has left the station.
Trump should just cede the rest of his time to Biden.
Yeah.
I can't believe
he should.
7 days to rehearse. This is what he came up with.
Yeah.
That war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before.
All right, it's time to start drinking.
You want a beer?
You haven't started yet?
I don't care.
Me too. Bring me another one. Bring me two more. Passion fruit.
Aaron, can I have 2 beers, please?
Jeez.
Thank you.
Oh, my God. Look at the talk. This is a full-scale disaster. They're going to have to pull him. They have no choice.
They're going to pull him. He ain't making 90 minutes.
No, from the nomination, I mean.
Oh, that's for sure.
He's back to the Soviet Empire.
That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? You think he'll stop when if he takes...
There's the eyes.
What?
What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do.
Rick, you're right. Just let him talk.
Let him talk.
By the way, all that money we give Ukraine and from weapons we make here in the United States, we give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced.
Does weapons come for free?
Funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East.
Oh, oh my God.
Oh, tequila.
More than 1,000 people and taking
Yeah.
hundreds of hostages.
I'll tell you, Trump is showing a lot of discipline tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, very
And it's really good.
good poise, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Response has killed thousands
But Biden's wearing poise. Pads.
humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military.
Joe's like, is it 10:30 yet? No, Joe, you got an hour to go.
This is bit done.
To get
Number one.
Give it to him.
Everyone from the
Pass him
United
down,
Nations
Delgado.
Security Council,
Thank you, Aaron.
straight through to the G7, to the Israelis, and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade
Thank you.
hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war.
No end of the war?
It's a victory, boys.
So part of his conditions are no end to the war. Okay.
2,000-pound bomb. They don't work very well.
Can't.
We're providing Israel
This is crazy.
And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt.
What?
One Israeli was accidentally killed.
What's an intercontinental? What is he talking about?
We are the biggest producer.
He knows.
So they're 2 different things.
Yeah.
Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued.
Just keep standing there.
Continue to send our experts.
Keep smirking.
I wouldn't say nothing.
Hamas like we did Bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas. Greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
That's all I got.
Let's go back to Ukraine for a second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent $100 billion, or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them? So you got to put up your money like I did with NATO. I got them to put up hundreds of billions.
Look at
of
this.
dollars. The Secretary General.
Look at his face.
Look at that face. Come on, man.
We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian. They don't like it because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. You understand NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea that we have our strength lies in our alliances as well. It may be a big ocean, but were we ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe?
Italy or Europe?
Yep, Europe. Yep, Europe.
We continue to go into NATO. We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of
Someone said Democrats might have sent Jamal Bowman in to pull the fire alarm.
It's beautiful.
Brilliant.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations. Because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have. But we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time. And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next month.
Merrick Garland's already putting together a grand jury to indict Trump on elder abuse.
President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you
here we go.
orders that day, Some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the Constitution.
Oh, here we go.
Mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution.
What's this have to do with the future?
Becky Snyder says, I'm betting even the space aliens are confused.
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations.
That's a good rebuttal.
On January 6th, we were respected all over the world.
Yep.
All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You had 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, like they say, was saying, oh no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? That's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up to the Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they've talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation.
Biden can't even hit a softball.
No.
We need a beach ball.
His own balls.
No. This guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable.
What?
And he wants to let them all out, and now he says that he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that it could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden.
That was terrible.
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down
Very good.
many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump.
The warehouse is screaming right now.
The only person in this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
He was waiting for that one.
What he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those
Spending way too much time on this.
deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows.
They didn't kill anyone.
Occupied offices.
Kill anybody.
Turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion, you change the prosecutor, otherwise you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute.
He wants to respond.
Give him a minute.
He gets a minute.
The idea.
I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties?
Billions.
No.
For molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night.
What does this country become?
He went there.
What are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give me a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official at DOJ into the Manhattan DA office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. So when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken hundreds of millions.
Look at his face. These pictures are horrible.
Yeah.
His political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Did you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved in the first place after my son had died.
Here we go, Charlottesville.
Here we go, son.
Because of Iraq. I said I wasn't going to run again. Until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh, you didn't go there.
Swastikas on torches. And
This was just debunked, you old man.
They sang when back in Germany. And went to, and
No, he didn't.
I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The people the ones who got killed one that tried to stop
Very
it,
fine.
and the ones he said, I think they're fine people.
Oh, dude.
Can we get back to like issues that matter to people right now?
This was just debunked by Snopes of all people.
Even CNN talked about this being debunked.
This is what the game plan was.
I'd like to know what they are.
Let's get back to the issues.
Yeah.
This guy has no sense of American democracy.
What about the national debt?
Jake, both of you know that story's been totally wiped out because when you see
Look at him. He's amazed. He doesn't think so.
exoneration on this, so he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency is, without question,
The worst.
The worst president,
Ever.
The worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every anchor every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He just had an excuse to run.
Look at him.
What was he talking to?
All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. The idea that
Telling you.
that's the only reason I ran.
When the silicone chip inside his head gets switched to overload.
Carrie knows that Carrie news torches.
To think this guy has the nuclear codes. Oh my god.
Sick.
All this being
Oh my god.
Let's talk about that.
We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows.
Trump should
Again.
say. He should say, "Do you still have the nuclear
Come on.
codes?"
Look, there's
Let's get to the issues.
40 of his 44 top cabinet officers.
Believe it or not, this is the issue. The way he's going on about things that weren't true.
They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Nobody's gonna go to school today. He's gonna make
Oh, commercial time.
at home.
Oh my god.
All right, boys. What are we? No, more than halfway. We got like
yeah, no, your third quarter.
35 minutes left. Kevin Downey's here.
Hey.
Yay.
Sorry I'm late. I was at America First Warehouse with David Zier, and I was going on, then I wasn't going on, then I was going on, then I wasn't going on, then I was
There's
just...
lots going on there.
I was going to be on air with David, and then, the place is going nuts. I just...
Hey, do we want to try to get Zier on right now? See what's going on over there? I mean, they've got to just be...
Only if Joe's with him.
I just texted my fiance, they're going crazy. He go, oh my God, this place is going nuts.
I mean, this will go down in the history books. This is an utter
butt wipe.
This is this is a disaster that not even the Democrats could have seen coming.
Even Jake Tapper the other day was talking about the Charlottesville thing being a lie.
Yep. See,
they came out with it, so they hoped to pull this from his memory stick that they put into his neck before they shipped them out there tonight. But somehow, I guess a phantom copy of it still exists, rattling around.
By the way, can we admit Can we admit right now that this format, with the way this was set up right now, has been really, honestly, better than most people thought?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes, because I think we all know that Trump runs a crowd. He works a crowd like nobody's business, and they thought, well, we'll take that away. Yeah,
right.
And ouch.
But they don't pay attention when he does one-on-ones and he does small groups. So when he's doing like that, where he's just talking, he's basically talking to the moderators.
Yeah.
When he's talking one-on-one, he kills.
Yep.
But they just keep thinking, well,
this is an unmitigated disaster.
You know what?
To a point where I don't think they could. I don't think they. I'll tell you. I don't know what comes to this.
Brooke says.
I do.
Brooke says they will double down that Biden won, in my opinion.
I know what's coming.
Of course.
Damon wants to see if his ticket is available for the winning team. You can come on over, Damon.
We're going to the Sphere.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the time that they've all spent, other than the time they've spent on issues that I don't think are relevant to this election. I mean, they're trying obviously to help Biden.
Get into the future.
I can't even say that I think Dana Bash and Jake Tapper have been horrible yet. I actually don't think they have.
But they need to talk about
except for
forward.
the one.
right? Looking forward, what is the plan for the future?
We're spending too much time on non-issues
History Channel.
going into this election.
But these are the things that people remember.
But Trump's answers on these things have been money.
Yeah.
Money. Out of the park.
Absolute money.
Oh.
I think we have David Zier. Let's bring David Zier in here as we hit the commercial break. David. All right, we don't have David Zier. We'll get.
He's neither Zier nor
we have him. We don't have him. We have him. We have him.
We got him today, gone tomorrow.
Zier today, gone tomorrow. All right, we have him now. David Zier. Let's bring him in if we do have him. David Zier over at the America's First Warehouse. Well, Mr. Zier, I don't know if you can hear us, but I don't know what the feeling is over there, but this will go down in the history books as one of the biggest unmitigated disasters ever for a presidential debate for a current sitting president. Tell us what's going on over there. All right, very good, David. Thanks so much. We'll get back to you.
He always has so much to say. Can't get a word in edgewise.
All right, we're back to the debate. Here we go. So he's going to have to wait.
Oh, he came back.
And he'd certainly face again in a second.
Think about what?
Persistent challenges.
Biden was just in the corner going, "Rock, cut my high."
Black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still
He's like, what?
pregnancy-related causes, and Black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge you made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is more small Black businesses that have started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of Black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time.
I think he's just making this up.
Yeah, winging it.
We're providing housing for Black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate races that collude to keep people out of their houses.
Wow.
In addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that Black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult.
Child care.
When I did the first major piece of legislation that passed, I was able to reduce Black child care costs. I cut them in half.
That's a blatant lie.
I'm telling you, he just says things.
I don't think people, places charge based on the color of your kid.
Yeah.
Right?
No, of course not.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, white woman. Yours came out black. Here's some money back.
We've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to
His life.
voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any Black family, first-time home buyer, should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home.
Oh, great.
So they can get started.
But the mortgage rate at 8%. Yeah.
All those Black families and those Black individuals who provided.
Trump is like,
he's just like, I don't know what he's talking
just going
about.
to stay quiet.
Let him talk, like Rick said.
Anything having to do with volunteerism. If they paid their bills for 10 years,
What?
student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for Black families.
I'm sure they seem very secure after that answer.
Inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right, it's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing Black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled, and tripled, and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the Black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking Black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking Black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why?
Trump was the president before you.
50% unemployment.
50% unemployment. What was that?
Just proves it. He's just making stuff up.
Get off my lawn.
Millions of jobs for individuals who are in all communities, including minority communities. We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, the ACA has increased, made sure that they're
It's unreal.
$1,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. This guy wants to eliminate it.
What?
He's tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again. And they're going to try again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the idea. That we're not doing it. We put more police on the street than any administration.
Now we're in police.
He wants to cut the cops. We're providing.
He wants to cut the cops.
Trump?
There's a lot going on.
He's looking at Trump.
He caused it by his tremendous malfeasance in the way
Talking about a mouth. My God.
That was a sandwich.
2023 was the hottest year in recorded history in communities across.
Oh, now we're going into climate change.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
It's a waste.
Come on.
Come on, blow through this.
Hurricanes and rising sea levels. Former President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Let me just go back to what he said about the police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police group. And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s, we can't forget that. Super predators is his name.
Did I say that?
How could he remember that?
Who's he turning to look for? There's nobody there, bud.
Or is there? There might be a mic.
Colleges and universities
earpiece.
Funded them and got them all funded. And the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job. Great senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea. It was a great idea. One of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country. Opportunity zones. And the biggest beneficiary are blacks. And that's why we have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever. The best numbers. He's lost much of the black population because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But when you see these millions of people pouring into our country and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet, it's a disaster.
You've 38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea. He said is true. I passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history. We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges. I came up with $50 billion for HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges, because they don't have the kind of contributors that they have to build these laboratories and the like.
Laboratories? What?
Capable in college of doing any white student can do.
He needs to build laboratories.
What was that?
He's built lavatory.
Yeah, bathrooms.
Empty out.
The idea that he is now claiming to have done something that had the cleanest water. He hadn't done a damn thing for the environment. He, out of the Paris Peace Accord, Climate Accord, I immediately joined it.
Peace, climate.
1.5 degrees Celsius, and then there's no way back. The only existential threat to humanity is climate change, and he didn't do a damn thing about it. He wants to undo all that I've done.
What have you done?
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion, and China nothing, and Russia nothing, and India nothing. It was a ripoff of
The only thing missing from Joe Biden's mouth at this point is a hook.
It's teeth.
Because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones. It was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it, and it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin.
Yep,
that's right.
That's true.
I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people.
What are you gonna say?
We're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Forget Social Security.
The idea is that we, in fact, we were the only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything if we're not able to, the United States can't get us under control? One of the largest polluters in the world. Number one.
Not true.
We're making significant
Yeah, not true.
By 2035, we will have cut pollution in half. We have made
Also not true.
significant progress, and we're continuing to make progress. We set up a climate corps where thousands of young people will learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps. And we're moving in
Climate
directions
corps.
that are going to significantly change the elements that cause.
Come on. Just somebody throw the towel in.
Throw it in. Throw it in.
He has the biggest heart up here, and he's really concerned about pollution and about climate.
He reminds me of that mobster who used to walk around Greenwich Village in his robe to show how crazy he was. So he doesn't go to jail. It's Joey the Chins.
Joey the Chin.
I make sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay. And by the way,
So
That was a moment.
Social Security provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing
Oh
is
my
done,
goodness.
That was a moment right there.
Yeah.
will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck.
It's not true.
Every time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that everybody, they pay, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one after, I would not raise it.
I can't even imagine the spin they're going to have to do tomorrow on.
After that, I began to make the wealthy
By the way,
begin to pay their fair share.
that's a classic.
To be able to guarantee the program.
The idea.
We still have 82 seconds left.
82 seconds.
82 seconds.
Keep Social
Might as well be 82 years.
Just, is that one enough?
Well, that one enough will keep it solvent, but the biggest thing I'll do if we defeat this man, because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare, both times. And that's what, and if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that
If you had idea on your drinking card, you'd be passed out.
You'd be wasted.
You'd be passed out by now.
the public has greater health care coverage today than ever before. And on the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the
Here's the fact.
Okay,
that's the
I'm not
fact.
kidding. NBC out. NBC tweets tonight. 2 familiar sources have now informed us that President Biden has a cold. So we got to get that out there.
Yeah.
Because having a cold, makes you go senile.
One of those late June colds.
Yeah.
They're already spinning.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. It's true. He can look you in the face. About so many other things too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. And everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation.
Yep.
The losers and suckers story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security, he's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare and Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the city, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing. And It's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
President Biden?
The idea that veterans...
The idea.
I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it, number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where
Got a drink again?
millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world.
Yeah.
The reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in history.
Where was that from?
Who knows?
Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden...
Are a lot of independent voters interested in child care and climate change and January 6th? And
But
what
they
are
are
these topics?
I think they are interested in being competent.
In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
Just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very highly respected, much more so than him. The other thing is, he doesn't fire people. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to fire people. You'd pay a price for it, but they were no good. I inherited these people. I didn't put him there. I didn't put Comey there. He was no good. I fired him. This guy doesn't fire.
Chris Wray's no better.
He never fires. He should have fired every military man that was involved with that the Afghanistan horror show, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people, many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it.
Joe, you're fired.
He's the president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tough on the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit, like this much. It's insignificant.
Look at him, he's lost.
He wants open borders. He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He is the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden.
Answer that.
We're the most admired country in the world, the United States of America. There's
Nothing.
beyond our capacity.
Nothing will be on our capacity.
Going to his speech.
He's wrapping up his speech.
The finest in the history of the world. No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to screw around with us. Nobody.
Really?
Number one. Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking. Look it up. Go online.
Go online.
59 or 58, don't hold me exactly.
Go to the YouTube.
Presidential
joke, man.
They've had meetings and they voted.
They had
The
meetings.
worst president in American history, one through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of America.
Well, nobody believes that.
That's a fact. That's not conjecture.
Yeah.
He can argue they're wrong.
It's not hyperbole.
The idea that he is doing anything to deal with child care, he did for virtually nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men.
Then why haven't you?
Back to work, and we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable. You want to take your minute?
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you, and they rate me one of the best, okay? And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire. So everybody, including the 2 of you, are going to pay 4 or 5 times. Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life, I grow up and I see politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about, he's increased the tariff, he will increase the taxes on middle-class people. I said I'd never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. But this tariff...
Of course you have.
Tariffs, everything coming into the country, you know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more, because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that are very important.
No idea what he's talking about. Yeah. I mean, no idea.
This is dribble.
He talks about how he has not raised, he's somehow helped the middle class. The middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate.
Yeah.
He's afraid to deal with them or something.
He's a Manchurian candidate.
Notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries, and there was more to come. But he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So, President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs pouring across the border it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog. That's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot. And we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we used the machinery that can detect.
That's not true.
These big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues, said, don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically. No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl, and Mexico is working with us to make sure that we have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
He needs a machine.
President Biden, President Trump,
Just like he's a machine.
about Americans in the throes of addiction right now struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter. I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago, but Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term.
President Biden, people have actually watched tonight.
About your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s.
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record, look what I've done. I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing.
When they turn to Trump, he'd just say, "I'll leave before I turn into this." Right.
The whole idea of computer chips, we said 30% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and then bring home a product.
What?
So I
What is he talking about? What
the hell is he talking about?
He's trying to go to his campaign speech now. That's all he can remember at this point.
Guess what? Those fabs, they call them, to build these chips. Those fabs pay over $100,000.
He's literally trying to remember his stump speech.
Yep.
Yeah.
The name Tuma.
Being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds.
Jobs for Americans.
Yeah, 40
all
seconds
over
left.
the world.
The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president
Talking about your age.
Yeah, the question is your age.
Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word.
Strawberries. They took the strawberries, see?
Those who he calls up to
life.
Kim Jong-un, we sent love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
You would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I had to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Questions, you couldn't do it. I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year, and you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace them.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 225 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway.
Talking about?
I'm just making stuff up.
I'd be happy to have a private contest. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president.
We're talking golf here?
Here we go.
Really?
What's?
Before I have to play golf. Think you can do it?
It's a 6 handicap. A hole.
8 handicap. 8. But I have, you know,
I see you swing. I know you swing.
I know you swing. I've seen you swing.
Sad, though.
What are we doing here?
This is sad, though.
Voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight
Come on.
that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, then you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, duh.
I have to say that, but of course I
Yeah,
believe that.
exactly.
Good answer.
Duh.
Acceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police.
Right.
And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him.
He's ready for bed, man.
Yeah, he really is. He doesn't
Look at
look
him.
good.
He is ready for bed. He doesn't look good.
He's tilting.
He's tilting.
They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
World War III. Let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want.
Eyes are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Time for his meds.
Wait, look at the forehead and the lines.
Like, really? What's wrong with his eyes right now?
The idea.
I think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I have.
Now they're coming back.
Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people. Not
Is that alum?
the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might.
He always does.
Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. Not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started, ever.
Never.
With me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia. Because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked
President Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
It's fair.
If it's a fair,
There you go.
and legal, and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up by numbers and driven them up to a very high level, because the people understand it.
Let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local. None.
That's not true.
You continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what,
There's a ton.
I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepted anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back.
It's a great answer, Joe. 2-second commercial.
You know, they let out that he was going to use that line.
Did they really?
Yes.
They're at 90.
I heard that yesterday.
Really?
That they're gonna try and say, well, something happened to him after he lost that first selection.
Yeah. I don't know if this last half an hour was as much of a disaster as the first 35 minutes for Biden, but it wasn't much better.
No.
I heard they saw Donna Brazile dressed as a maid sneaking questions into Camp David.
I think we see it as less of a disaster because the first disaster was such a disaster.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god! The first 40 minutes was.
I didn't think he was going to make it.
History book epic fail.
There's no coming back from this.
No.
They're warming up the replacement.
Yep. Hillary's in the on-deck circle right now.
Yep.
There's no way he runs.
They're bringing in the lefty.
Yeah, this has been epically bad.
Epic.
Gavin Newsom tweeted, Trump has been standing on stage tonight doing nothing but spewing lies. Don't believe them.
Oh, God.
Meet Kevin responded, well, you can address it in the second debate when you're up there. Which is a pretty good point.
That's right.
Make these guys happy. I can't believe we talked about handicaps in golf.
Dude, the fact that Biden thinks he's a 6 handicap.
8? No, then he said he was an 8 at one time.
Well, he kept getting the numbers mixed up
Yeah,
as usual.
6, 8. How do we enumerate?
No, it's 6 or 8. That's how many times they told him he plays like he's handicapped.
Brian Stelter from CNN. Biden is better on the facts, but Trump is much better at the fight. Biden is better at the facts.
What facts?
What are you talking about?
He's winging this thing, but see?
Yeah, but
that's how they spin it.
Made up facts. He's very good at made up facts.
Andrew Yang, Democrat. I debated Joe 7 times in 2020. He is a different guy in 2024. Hashtag swap Joe out.
Oof. I think we need a hashtag Joe's ready to go.
Keep him there. It's an easy victory.
Somebody in the X chat said, Slick Rick said Biden cremation or burial. I said both.
Both. Joe's ready to go.
Check this out, boys. My cousin sent me this. Border Patrol Union. To be clear, we never have and never will endorse Biden.
I saw that.
There you go.
I saw that on X. You're not a 6. I've seen your swing. I know your swing.
That was great.
Oh, my God. Michael Knowles, I had same thing I just said. I had reservations, but I must admit, Jake Tapper, Dana Bash have done a fine job.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know about fine, but they've done a good job. I don't think they've been atrocious.
You know what's crazy is that they
tried to save Joe a couple times.
They actually asked Joe Biden these hard questions. people are doing worse under you. What do you say? It's like, what? Did somebody switch the questions out from them?
By the way, can we just think about, now we know why they're fighting so hard to keep the Robert Hur tapes from all of us.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what those sound like?
And you know what? I was also wondering.
OMG.
Is it a recorded tape or is it a video?
Biden, you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Joe.
Here we go.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience, or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes.
He's going to close on taxes?
That'll be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit, number one.
Okay.
He's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare to...
He's doing Ricky Bobby hands.
Yes.
For us to be able to negotiate drug prices with them.
Doesn't know what to do with them.
Well, guess what?
Oh, my God.
We got it down to $35.
This is some clothes.
Oh, my God.
This clothes is a disaster.
For every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years.
No teleprompter.
The government doesn't have to pay the
This is what you get.
Yep. Abri, eso, folks.
Scattered.
All along, where it's happening now.
Scattered.
Everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. We're going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things.
Lead pipes.
Pipes.
Yeah, his
You
son
mean
uses
your
them.
pipes?
Hunter Biden.
Brain scattered.
Mishmash.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Oh, my God.
Strong clothes here. Bury him.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers. Where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months,
She would talk about the future.
and get themselves fixed up, readied up.
Should have had this this should be planned, memorized. Just talk right to the people about making their life better.
But it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make
Hurry
it
up,
great
get to
again.
it.
Thank you, President Trump, President Biden.
Not crazy about that close.
No.
Because we have full
Nope.
analysis of this.
They really
debate.
killed it.
Anderson Cooper and Aaron Burnett starts now on CNN.
Oh, there you go. There's your debate, folks.
Okay.
We can nitpick a little couple things with President Trump, but
I
for
gotta
the
be
most
any
part,
hand shaking there.
he was money.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to see another debate because if that's what he brought to the table, is that what Biden brought to the table after a 7-day retreat to Camp David?
Yeah, the fact that you need 7 days sequestered
for that.
Not only that, for things that
they walked away. They did not shake each other's hands.
You should know the answers to all these things without having to sit down and think about it.
Yep. Look, someone had to come and get him.
I got to see what the initial reaction is on this panel.
Dr. Jill is getting him.
Yeah, look, he has to be walked down the steps.
She is. Look at this.
Look at this.
Oh,
look at this. Donald Trump
cut.
walks off the side of the stage, not a problem.
Cut the feed.
Joe Biden needs to be walked down.
They're going over. Look at it.
Yep. Do you have Jell-O? Jake, do you have Jell-O?
All right, John King, let's go.
This was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic
Yep. There you go.
It continues right now.
There you go.
It involves party strategists. It involves elected officials.
I want to hear each of them.
And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal.
Big panic. Dismal.
It's calling like it is.
They're having conversations about what they should do about it.
Rick, our bet's looking good.
He's done.
Should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about should prominent Democrats go public?
Oh.
Because they feel this debate was so terrible.
The fix is in.
The debate was so terrible. Are Democrats going to go public against Joe Biden now?
Yep.
This is John King's initial reaction.
You know, David Zier called it when that guy said, "Well, he's just he can't send him to jail. He's just too feeble to be president."
Look at Hooper's like, how could that possibly? What are you talking about?
And sometimes there's a parallel universe.
Is he going to defend them?
The political elites and the American people. Be nice to see what the voters say. But I can tell you, it started minutes in. It started with the first couple of answers, and it continued throughout the night from oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, to what do we do about this?
Yep.
And it involves very senior.
Who's going to jump in here to his defense? One of them's going to.
Oh, it's coming.
John, you're being too.
John is saying, I mean, the panic that I am hearing from Democrats is not like anything that I have heard.
Oh, and they're going to be Abby Phillips.
And a lot of it has to do with, first of all, there was a deep frustration about Trump's lies. I mean, he lied a lot tonight.
Oh.
But
Like what?
Like what?
Yeah, name one.
Name one. Exactly.
Sometimes incredible falsehoods and turned them into some kind of argument, whereas Biden's answers were, in a lot of cases, not coherent, deeply problematic, that he was not able to take pretty straightforward.
Are they surprised?
And answer them to the American public, and then also at some points bringing
No teleprompter.
that teed up Trump attacks.
Now think about
There's a real concern
who's watching this. Not us.
No.
Independents and Democrats are watching this.
I don't think independents are watching this
Robert F.
anymore.
Kennedy's starting to look good to some of these people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Among his base,
He probably had a victory tonight.
that tonight would be a game changer. They are now
Oh, it's a game changer.
Let's hear what Axelrod is going to be. And Van Jones.
Oh, Van Jones is going to defend them.
No, I don't think so.
Nah, he right. Van Jones goes hard on him. You're right.
Look, I can't argue with either of them about how Democratic leaders are reacting to this poll. We said at the beginning that each person had a fundamental goal.
He's got eyebrows like a Muppet.
We're gonna put on makeup.
Okay, so far
Actually, he looks like Groucho Marx, doesn't he?
So far, Joe's completely lost CNN. He's 0 for 3 on the post panel here.
Yeah.
0 for 3, including Obama's closest
Calm me down.
policy guy in David Axelrod here. I'm sure Obama was texting Axelrod during it, going, "Oh my God,
yep,
we are so screwed."
Now, Joe.
I say we make a pool. See who takes his place. I'm going Hillary.
I'm going Slick. Newsom. Not me.
I don't know will lead to anything, but there are going to be discussion about whether he should continue. And I think part of it is Donald Trump did not meet his mission either.
Oh, yes, he did.
He could not resist the temptation to be nasty.
What was his mission, though?
How is he supposed to respond? Biden was.
He sounded sharp. You would have no concern about him taking the job? What do you mean?
Oh, he's nasty.
I don't think people give a shit about nasty or temperament
shouldn't.
at this point. They care about their pocketbook and their life.
Yeah.
In America thinks that was even close to being an okay debate by Joe Biden. I'm living in a parallel universe. And it was an unmitigated disaster for President Biden from the second he walked out to the closing statement. The biggest issue for Democrats is abortion. And he couldn't give an answer.
Yeah,
He gave an answer.
that's true.
He couldn't give a coherent answer on the biggest issue for Democrats tonight. I've heard from leading Democrats across the United States, elected governors, congressmen, who are texting me and saying, I'm worried I'm going to lose if Joe Biden's at the top of the ticket.
Ooh.
Bob Casey, I promise you tonight, in the state of Pennsylvania, is throwing up in his mouth. If he's on the ticket, I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah, look, it was a really disappointing debate performance from Joe Biden. I don't think
0 for 5 so far.
This is a mutiny. They did this.
Bedingfield.
They did this to Jamal Bowman. They're doing it to Biden now.
Thing is, Joe Biden probably thinks he did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, can they take him out though?
Yeah, 25th
next month.
Oh, at the thing?
25th Amendment.
Oh,
sure.
I still think they think that the votes will be there.
And why?
That doesn't help him with the swing voters.
What do they know?
And I also think you saw him continue to get sort of more and more animated across the course of the debate, and give some really problematic answers about January 6th, some really problematic answers about Putin. So Donald Trump did not get off scot-free tonight by any stretch. But look, there is no two ways about it. That was not a good debate for Joe Biden.
Van?
That was painful.
That was painful. 0 for 6.
Need the tiny dozen.
He did not do well at all, and he looked. I'll give you the analysis. You kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man.
Oh,
God.
He's doing the best he can.
Come on, Van.
Oh, shut
and
up.
it ain't good enough.
To restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to.
Is Van going to cry?
Yeah.
Taking a different course now.
Oh, Van's calling for a different course. Oh man, you guys are
fix
leaving.
is in.
You guys are leaving tonight in a sronger position than I thought.
The fix is in.
Damn it!
What are you packing for this fear?
I don't know.
He's getting
I
Jamal.
feel like maybe we should go wardrobe shopping.
This is just what we said.
I think Joe Biden lost in the first 3 minutes. I think a lot of voters probably tuned out. And
Here we go.
People are having conversations
Lissafara Griffin.
with their friends.
Oh, no one tuned out. We watched the slaughter.
If you should step aside. And I'm someone who
Yeah.
believes the former president is a threat to democracy. I think
You're an idiot. Shut up. What an idiot.
he wants to fundamentally change.
How does she end up? How was she in the Trump administration?
I don't know.
This is the shit that I just can't figure out.
Yeah, but then
How
she
do
got-
we get
then she got
bozos like this in the administration in the first place? How do we hire these kind of people?
The people doing focus groups tonight, and we'll see if our dial group with Laura Coates confirms this, say that Biden actually scores pretty well on the issues when he's talking about the substance. And Trump's numbers went.
What substance?
When he's sun sniffing.
Lying about some things, and he was refusing to answer, and some of it was the tone. They don't like it. So when you see that, when you see sort of the statistics, you're going to look at like, oh, that's.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares about that.
That's what caused the panic.
So
the question is, and my question actually is.
all right, well, there you go. There's the CNN panel. I mean, we could flip around to see other networks, but how could it be any different?
People are calling for John Fetterman.
I mean, how could it be? By the way, John Fetterman's in Israel, standing with Israel, with Benjamin Netanyahu. A lot more than a lot of his colleagues have done.
Yeah.
So, all right, boys. Well, this was, this was interesting.
Slaughterhouse.
That was a bloodbath.
I mean, that really was
bad.
I mean, was it worth? I mean, was it Was it worse than you, Delgado? Was it worse than you could have ever expected?
That was it worse?
Was Biden worse than you could have expected? Given the weak prep, all of the... You didn't think it was worse than you?
I thought he did. I thought he actually surprised me that he was able to do it that long.
Yeah. I thought he was gone after that first segment.
I don't think you can recover after the first 35 minutes, no matter what he did.
No.
Oh, you mean like, going forward? No. Right. I mean he's toast. But I'm just saying I was surprised after those first few minutes, like Slick just said. I was like, oh, this was going downhill fast. He stemmed he stemmed the bleeding, I guess, but he still died on stage.
Yeah. What'd you think, Kev?
I was leaving America First Warehouse to join you guys, and the first question went to Biden, and I didn't recognize his voice. And I thought, this is bad. And then he said, this guy said to drink bleach or something. I go, oh, my God.
We talked about it when he first came out. He was...
I'll be honest, it was so much worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
So much worse.
Yeah. So
I actually almost felt bad for
the most prophetic words of the night. Joe Biden, Joe's ready to go, and he's gone.
Yep.
I close it on that.
I think what's lost on CNN is them showing Joe having to be walked down those steps by his wife.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was thinking about that. I don't think anybody was paying attention. They did the long shot. Oh, they're going to leave the stage, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they realized what it's going to look like.
See, I think they knew what it was going to look like, and it was all in the bag to get rid of him. I think that he's getting Jamal Bowman. Okay. I think his own people are taking him out.
Yeah, but Joe, he is such a narcissist. He thinks he did great.
He does.
He does.
I heard from someone he is just a megalomaniac.
Yeah. He believes he is smarter than anybody else. He thinks he thought Obama was using him. Like he thought he was the brains of the Obama administration.
Oh my God.
Like he's one of those types.
Wow.
Like this guy should be carrying my bags.
Very well connected Democrat source tells me, number one, the House and Senate are the GOP's for now. Number two, everybody's freaking out. 3, he needs to go. But 4, they still think there's no way they replace him unless he agrees.
Yeah, he has to agree, and he's not going to.
Correct.
Unless they say, we're going to release these tapes.
Yep.
If they threaten him with, you know what, we're not going to help you here. We're going to release these tapes. We don't care what happens. Once they're going to level threats on him, and he's going to
blackmail him. Basically,
yeah, they're basically going to blackmail him.
The Dems play that game all the time.
Ben Shapiro tonight. I'll just try to give you some quick reaction here before we go. The real question you should be asking tonight is why the entire media and Democratic Party have been obviously lying to you for years about Joe Biden's mental incapacity. Knives are out from CNN. Panic is spreading. Operation Replace Biden is now underway. Democrats scramble with 130 days to go. Which, by the way, we were all saying, boy, this is so early, 130 days. How do we get to this? Well, we may have a better idea why they wanted to do it 130 days out.
Now, here's the question. When do these debates usually take place? This early in June?
September, October.
Yeah.
What?
Are the debates usually this early in the year?
No, never.
So I think
the debates are always after the conventions.
Yep. That's what I thought.
When they have to play a set.
And they're usually set up by the Presidential Debate Committee, which I now think is like a dead thing.
Yeah. I think they did this on purpose to say, let's get him out now so we can get someone out there.
Yeah.
Well, they had to take his temperature and see if he could handle it.
Yeah.
Like if he came off okay, they're thinking, okay, we can ride with this. They're looking at this now like, we got... And... Again, I think they're going to use pressure. I think they're going to use threats against. Maybe they'll use it against his son, saying, "Look, we're going to make sure we're going to throw the book at him. We're going to make sure that September case, he's not going to be able to defer that. Either you get behind what we want you to do, or things are not going to go well for you. They'll probably let him get to the convention." Mm-hmm. Step aside at the convention, let him save face.
Well, remember this. This is the other thing we haven't talked about. You wonder what the phone calls tonight are going to be surrounding the judge and the sentencing.
Oh,
because you think about an equalizer.
Yeah.
How do we get the attention off of this disaster, and how do we take the focus off? I mean,
Yeah, but that's still, what, 2.5 weeks out?
No, I understand that, but they're thinking about 131 days out, not just 2 weeks. Like, what else can they do?
I'm thinking the phone call that
they got to go full, take them out, and get rid of the opponent at this point.
I'm thinking that the Newt Gingrich type of call is going, yeah, I know you're supposed to do it July 11th. Move it up till tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Do the sentencing tomorrow.
Well, but it's the same idea, right? Like, did the sentence just get more aggressive because of this tonight? What do you think is going to happen on July 11th, Delgado?
I have no idea.
Kev, do you have any?
He's going to jail.
Yeah. Slick?
No.
You still say no?
No.
What do you think?
What do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, what do you think?
They're not going to send him to jail. Maybe house arrest. That's what I'm thinking. Like, walking around with the collar on the foot there. That's what I think.
Alex Wagner over on MSNBC. There has been a uniformly negative reaction to Biden's performance tonight. An enfeebled person. He is very old and was lost.
That's 81 million votes right there, I thought, Damon.
I still think the Dems can't replace Biden, but I'm much less confident in that view than I was 2 hours ago. And I am with you.
Well, that was your text, wasn't it?
I am with you, Michael Knowles. I have been in that camp, obviously, and I am not as comfortable in my boat with John Solomon as I was at the beginning of the night.
Oh my God! There's room on our big boat here. If you'd like to come over,
I'm not jumping ship
to the party boat.
I'm not jumping ship, but I see an iceberg ahead. Let's put it that way.
Well, Janine in X, she said that there will be a Black Swan event to keep the people distracted. So watch out.
Did I say that the other day?
Always look for that.
Jesse Kelly says, well, Biden had a rough night, but his closing statement about getting rid of lead pipes is really going to resonate.
Yeah, like a lead balloon.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Seems like it's pretty somber over at MSNBC, too.
Yeah, they're playing taps.
I think. Just to not make it all about Biden. I think the one thing I wish President Trump had really thought a little more about the closing statement and really directed at how he's going to help people's lives.
Yeah.
It's still so much of it was about what we did.
Right.
And that's fine, but people want to hear about what you're going to do. What can you do to help me? My credit card balance is through the roof. My savings is through the basement. My mortgage rate, I can't. My kids can't buy a house. I can't afford groceries. I can't afford gas. I got to choose between heating the house. People want to know about what's coming. And I thought, he could have just absolutely
knocked it out of the park.
Nailed the coffin down.
Yeah.
If he had just looked in the camera and made that plea to people to say, I know you're hurting.
Yeah.
I think like he had that moment. Not that what he said was bad, but he had that moment to absolutely connect, dead to rights, connect, and bring it home. And it didn't seem like it was
that aha moment.
It just kind of seemed like he went with what was in his mind there. It wasn't really thought through. Just here's what we're going to do no matter what happens. Your closing has to be about whatever.
Yeah, it should have been what he talked about. I think around mid debate, where he talked about his success was going to be his vengeance.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
He should have just focused on a message of success for the last 30 seconds. And, we've been through all this, but I'm bringing you an opportunity for success. The success that we had before, we can do that again and take it to the next level. People want to hear that positive, message of success, especially the young kids, because they're the ones that are looking down the pipe at, things being so unaffordable and jobs just not being available. They need that positive message.
He needed that campaign close. He closes on these campaigns all the time, and they're always strong, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and he didn't do it. And that's to your point, Big D.
Well, listen, for the Biden campaign, there's always positives, and I would bet tomorrow morning what they'll do to try to offset some of this damage is send the vice president out.
Yes, because
well, there she is. Her picture's right there, coming up. She's coming up on CNN.
Oh, look at that!
Big D.
Look at that!
She's coming up now.
Oh my God! Could you imagine they're scrambling with her?
Oh my God! Look at this. She's coming up now.
She thinks they're going to let her run.
Yeah.
Sources: aggressive panic for Dems after Biden's performance tonight. This is the lower third on CNN's crawl.
Aggressive panic.
Yeah. is going to cleanse their palate for success more than Kamala Harris. Oh my goodness, she is just.
I'm telling you, it's going to be Hillary.
How do they get rid of a black woman though?
They say black woman is not you.
You can't overlook the first black vice president.
You can't.
No,
I want to hear her.
I heard a rumor that she's willing to step down for Hillary, and by
to
willing,
go be governor of California. Do you think?
That or something on the Supreme Court?
What is Slick
going to
gonna
offer
do?
her something?
Nobody's gonna vote for her for the Supreme Court.
What is Slick going to do? They got to move him, right? Newsom.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. Well.
All right.
I mean, we didn't have a chance to jump into. I would like to just quickly. Let me see if we can jump into the chat. I'm sure everybody's feeling the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Which one we going to?
I'm going to jump into the YouTube real quick. You guys can jump into anything else.
Okay.
Louderick Crowder has Alex Jones on. Oh my God. Kamala Harris. Yep.
James Reed, KJP, Curry Jean-Pierre is going to have to do a lot of blinking to make up for this tomorrow for Joe.
Oh man.
Yeah. Drag Blacker, what's going on? Ken Jones said Biden mumbled and told the truth while Trump looked and sounded good but lied all night. Well, we know that's not true.
No, that's not true at all.
I mean, Trump looked great, sounded sharp, showed immense composure, discipline to stand there.
Yep.
His reaction might be the greatest. I thought his debate moment against Hillary was one of the great debate moments because you'd be in jail.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I don't know. I have no idea what he just said. That's right up there.
Yeah, but he also followed it up with, I don't know what he just said. I don't think he knows what he just said.
The double take look like this guy is totally cooked.
Right.
And then
he's got no soul.
I mean, that might be the greatest debate moment from Trump we've had, and I didn't think the Hillary thing could be topped.
Right.
I got to go look at a replay of that to see if it was as good as I thought it was. But man, that was
priceless.
Let's see. Oh, David Zier's. Oh, of course. See, you guys are unbelievable. What? David Zier's texting me, Team Chemtrails.
It is. Get on the bandwagon, Big D. Come on.
Oh, man.
That's it.
This is like the Love Boat. There's so much good feeling on it, Slick, right?
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's on. We got Isaac working behind the bar. He's going to get you a drink, Damon, when you finally come on.
Come on, the bandwagon.
You know what?
No,
I wish I didn't believe it because I know.
What do you got here?
What's he? Don't tell me Biden's going to a post thing to try to
Oh my God,
talk.
Oh
my God, they are. Look at this.
Look at this.
Doing a Let's Go
Look at Jill.
Got
She's
the mic.
smiling.
If Joe Biden, after a remarkably successful first 2 years and a
remarkably
successful. Chris Wallace, your father's rolling over in his grave.
Totally.
Yep.
And I'm moving on and sending it to another generation.
Good gravy.
He was unwilling to do that, and Joe Biden was unwilling to do that, and ever since then we have been.
I'm just as you're saying that, I'm only interrupting you, Chris, because
please.
That is a watch party. That's live right now. Joe Biden is.
It's a launch party.
It's a launch party. What are they watching?
He's launching crab cakes in his drawers.
Let's go, Joe. Let's go. Exactly. Let's go home.
Oh, what's going on with his right hand there? Why is it stuck?
Oh,
there he goes.
There we go. Who's Joe? What's Joe doing?
Who's that?
Who was that to?
Look at Jill.
When there were so many people who thought he should have turned it over to a new.
The Bogadas. Every time I hear her voice, that's all I can think of is the Bogadas.
Look at Joe now reposing.
Why don't you let him speak, Jill?
No,
he's really good at it.
She should have did the debate for him.
I mean, Chris Wallace, shut up.
Okay.
It was a disaster.
Stand him.
Oh, my God, please.
Guy.
Let's see. Nothing better than crab cakes in your pants, Slick. That's
exactly. Nothing like it, man.
All right, Joe's talking.
Oh, my God, Joe's going to talk again.
Yeah.
Reporters are talking to them.
They cut the feed.
They won't even take it.
No.
Two Biden surrogates that are inside this room. And I think what I'm most struck by after listening to that entire performance.
He's talking. I mean, I can't believe I'm taking this.
Campaign officials and covering President Biden myself, his first 2 years in office, was part of his closing statement there. He made no mention of abortion or Donald Trump's felony conviction. the two things that they have talked about.
He did mention it.
But he did talk about lead pipes.
Yeah.
Between
He
President
did.
Biden and former President Donald Trump.
Because he had no teleprompter, he's scatterbrained. He tried to just remember anything he could think of.
Reproductive rights and the fact that three of the justices who helped overturn
goes-
Roe versus Wade were put on the Supreme Court.
Shirt says "Let's go, Joe." It's more like "Gotta go, Joe."
Yeah, gotta go, Joe.
Gotta go, Joe. I got a new T-shirt. Switch your shirt, girl.
They're not even taking him.
No.
Yeah.
Police officers were ushered.
When you lose CNN, boy.
When you think Caitlin, whatever her name is, Caitlin Collins,
Caitlin Collins, yeah.
is more important than what your Joe Biden has to say.
Right. That's some commentary there.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
What a night.
Well, what a night. All right. So, I mean, this was great. Great viewership on socials. Want to thank everybody for joining us on YouTube, on X. We're 8,000 on X.
Wow.
So great numbers on the socials. We tried to give you as much reaction as possible without talking over the whole damn thing. So hope you enjoyed it. Guys, thanks for coming in. We will see what the next 24 hours brings before we get back on air tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Oh, they went to him.
It'll be interesting to see. Let's just see if Joe's even like finishing sentences here. Let's. What?
I want to go home with you.
I want to go home with you? Thank you. That's all I heard. And then he stopped. And they got a DJ back there.
Yeah, she's got the show.
Thank you.
Gotta go, Joe.
Applause going to that party.
Oh, Joe's going to dance with her. Okay, great. All right, we're gonna wrap.
Oh, he does his little fake run.
Oh, let's see. They got 9 people running towards him to get him down the stairs. Okay, he made it.
His quickness in his response.
All right, well there you go. So, all right, boys, thanks. We will. I want to thank Aaron and Fran for all their hard work putting this together. I want to thank Real America's Voice for taking our stream on their socials. I want to thank you, live from Studio 6B audience, most of all, of course. Thanks for joining us on a special debate night. God, I hope we have another one because we could do this again. This was fun. I don't think we will, though. But
that's debatable.
We'll see. Thanks, guys. And we will see you all tomorrow night, 8 p.m., live from Studio 6B.